Oh, my goodness. We're getting to the end of the Chad Daybell trial. The trial continuing on with significant developments. The prosecution presenting its final rebuttal witnesses, bringing the high-profile case closer to conclusion. Key testimonies from medical experts and investigators providing crucial insights into the circumstances surrounding the deaths of Tammy Daybell, J.J. Vallow, and Tylee Ryan. Judge Boyce opened the courtroom to the jury and addressed a pending issue about a proposed witness, Janice Olsen, who claimed to have heard Tammy Daybell discussing increasing her life insurance. After deliberation, Boyce decided to exclude Olsen's testimony, citing concerns about its relevance and her potential bias after watching parts of the trial. Dr. Erik Christensen, a retired medical examiner, resumed his testimony, reiterating that Tammy Daybell's death was not accidental, natural, or a suicide. These were bruises on her arms and chest, but her heart and other organs were normal, Christensen testified, dismissing the possibility of death due to toxicological issues, seizures, or cardiac arrhythmia. He concluded that Tammy's death was caused by asphyxia, labeling it a homicide. Let's take a listen to that testimony right here.
Second, at this point, you didn't have anything specifically in your evaluation that caused you to go away from either undetermined or asphyxia homicide, correct? That's where you were at the end?
At the end, ultimately, our final discussion was around the deciding between undetermined or homicidal asphyxia.
Okay. And at that point, based on your review of all of the law enforcement reports and everything that the police officers have provided to you, you decided to lean towards homicide. Is that right?
But we made a decision that we would rule this a homicide, yes.
As part of your review of this case, did you talk to Chad's daughter, Emma Murray?
No.
Did you talk to Chad's daughter, Leah?
No.
Did you talk to Chad's son, Garth?
No.
Did you talk to Chad's son, Mark?
No.
Did you talk to Chad's son, Seth?
No.
Did you talk to Chad's mom or dad?
No.
Okay. So you got information from law enforcement, is that correct?
Yes.
But you didn't go back and look at anything provided to you from the family to give you some concept of what potentially the family history or medical was, correct?
Nothing was provided to me from the family.
Well, nothing was provided, but you didn't ask, right?
I did not.
Your Honor, argumentative.
Overruled. You didn't ask, did you?
I did not.
And you specifically asked the police officers to provide you information about this case. Is that right?
Honor, asked and answered multiple times.
Sustained.
After you provided this exhaustive list of police reports that they provided to you, at what specific date did you make your determination?
I don't know specifically when it was. It was sometime in the days immediately preceding when we signed the report, but I don't recall specifically which of those days.
Would it be fair to say that it was 14, 15 months later that you finally signed the report?
I believe that's about the right timeline. Yes, 13, 14 months.
So after 14 or 15 months of looking at this, you then made the decision that you came to the conclusion you did. Is that right?
Yes.
What is John Pryor even trying to prove here? And what did you have for lunch that day? If you were to make a chart of how many days you had Subway versus Quiznos, where would that be? I don't know if it might be probably more Quiznos. Like, okay, did you put ham on any of those sandwiches? Objection, relevance. Let it pass. Yeah. Okay. Ham. Do you like ham?
The dude is just in over his head. You can just feel it, can't you?
Yes. I mean, what are you going to argue? He's like filling time. I've been saying this the entire trial. It just feels like he's going up there and for some reason thinks he has to fill space. And he's just kind of like rattling off whatever he can think of. And it usually goes nowhere.
It's like he's filibustering.
Well, yes, but very much so. And I don't know if that's part of the goal here to really show that Chad Daybell has inadequate representation or what? Because I guess shutting up, I mean, that it displays less incompetency than it does when he is up there arguing. Defense attorney John Pryor cross-examined Christensen, questioning why certain details such as a minor lung inflammation were not highlighted in the report. Christensen responded that the inflammation was insignificant and did not contribute to the cause of death. Let's take a listen.
Second time you're back, again, no discussion about inflammation in the lungs, correct?
Correct.
And then only after the defense attorney gets up here and questions it does the subject come up. Is that right?
Yes.
Nothing else.
All right, Ms. Blake, redirect.
Dr. Christensen, have you testified before?
Yes.
And are you familiar with court proceedings that the state brings people back as rebuttal witnesses?
Yes.
So have you testified in that capacity before?
A couple of times, yes.
Counsel just went over inflammation in the lungs pretty in depth. Again, was there any indication that inflammation of Tammy's lungs caused her death?
No.
Retired Detective David Stubbs also took the stand, presenting evidence from Chad Daybell's Google search history. Stubbs revealed that on January 3rd, 2019, someone using Chad Daybell's account searched for information on how to turn off location services to an iPhone. A request was made on August 24th, 2019 to delete all GPS history from the Chad.Daybell account. Stubbs testified, noting that such actions could be indicative of attempts to conceal illicit activities. During cross-examination, Pryor suggested that the searches could have been made by Tammy Daybell, who was more tech-savvy and used Apple devices. Stubbs acknowledged the possibility, but reiterated that the searches were conducted specifically through Chad's account.
Are you aware that Chad Daybell has an Android device?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that Tammy Daybell had an iPad device?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Had an iPad device.
That Tammy did?
Yeah.
I'm not sure of that.
Okay. So if someone's trying to turn the location off on January 3rd of 2019 for an iPhone or an iPad, that doesn't necessarily mean they're looking up how to turn off an Android device, does it?
That's correct.
Okay. So this search was in talking Apple devices, right?
That is right.
And you're aware that Chad Daybell didn't have an Apple device, right?
I'm not sure if he had an Apple device, but I know he had an Android.
Okay. You're also aware that around January 3rd of 2019, that was shortly or around the time that Chad Daybell started having an extramarital affair with Lori Vallow, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it wouldn't be unusual for someone who's having an affair, even if Chad doesn't have an iPhone or an iPad, to try to maybe hide the fact that he's having an affair with someone, correct?
That could be the case.
You said it's the user's account. That's what you said, right? It's the user's account. The person who did this was the user's account?
Was using the Chad.Daybell account, yes.
We don't know who was using the account to turn off location services on their Apple device, right?
I can't tell you who was using the account other than the account name.
Are you aware in the Daybell family between Chad and Tammy, which one was the computer person in that relationship?
I can't testify to that.
Anybody can do a search history and delete their search history, right?
That's correct.
And if you're having an affair with someone close in time when maybe that person may be moving from Arizona to Idaho, you may want to delete your history to cover your tracks, right?
Possibly.
No.
Mr. Stubbs, you were asked by counsel about the possibility of deleting location data to hide an affair.
Yes.
And through your investigation, are you aware if Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow were having an affair?
Yes.
Could a person also delete their location data to cover the tracks of crimes committed?
Yes.
If part of those crimes involved the location of missing children. Could that be a reason to delete that data?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Thank you.
I love it when people that don't know about technology try to talk about technology.
Oh, yeah. Tell us you don't know about technology without saying you don't know about technology. An iPad device?
An iPad device.
Okay.
Right?
It's called an iPad.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean an iPad, or an Apple device? Apple device would be more appropriate. Lieutenant Ray Hermosillo from the Rexburg Police Department provided testimony about the investigation into the disappearance of J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. He detailed how the children were eventually found buried on Chad Daybell's property. Hermosillo also mentioned that he drove by the Daybell residence frequently, partly because his dry cleaning business was nearby and partly due to the ongoing investigation. Hermosillo recounted seeing Emma Murray, Daybell's daughter, at a gym, but noted he did not interact with her. His testimony reinforced the prosecution's narrative of Chad Daybell's involvement in the children's death. The prosecution wrapped up its rebuttal witness, and Judge Boyce announced the next phase, jury instructions, closing arguments. Boyce stated, signaling the trial's imminent conclusion, the jury was excused for the day, the courtroom cleared for administrative actions and further discussions on jury instructions. So next up, we have closing arguments, and then verdict in the trial of Chad Daybell. Of course, the sentencing not taking place at the same time. That'll be like a mini trial almost into itself when that takes place, very likely here this summer.
Okay. Any prediction, Tony?
Guilty as fuck. Like, I think it's not even going to be like guilty. It'll be like literally guilty as fuck. They're going to come out and say that. Like, excuse me, Your Honor. But yes, we, the jury, have found the defendant, Chad Daybell, guilty as fuck. And
I like that.
Yeah. And we highly recommend you put him to death. I don't think there's a chance in hell Chad Daybell will get off on this. Stranger things have happened, though. But yeah, I wonder what the odds are at Vegas right now.
Wow. I'd love to get in on that action.
And your prediction?
Oh, he's guilty.
Yeah.
I'm just more curious about how long it's going to take the jury to come back.
You mean guilty on all counts, on counts of the kids and Tammy, or just guilty on certain ones?
I feel like there's a little bit of muddiness and muckiness there. I'm not quite sure they're going to come back on that. On the kids, abso-fucking-lutely. Tammy, I don't know. I just feel like
even though
medical examiners
asphyxiation, the medical examiner said today, like this was clearly asphyxiation.
Well, yes, but I'm concerned about the inflammation in the lungs. So you can suffocate yourself. Now, she did have some bruising. So if they're going to have some area where they're not convinced, it's going to be there. The kids, they're convinced. Guarantee it. The jury's going to come back and go, yeah, this guy did it. But if they're foggy on anything, it's going to be on Tammy.
I can see that. I think the kids hurt Chad more than anything. I think that they really demonstrated just how creepy and weird life is with the Daybells. And I think it points more to his guilt than it does his innocence. But, okay, how long do you think they will be deliberating for? And keep in mind, while we're recording this, they haven't started yet. They're doing closing arguments literally while we're recording this. So by the time this airs, they may even already have a verdict. Your guess?
Well, we are recording at, afternoon, and I'm thinking I'm going to give them 8 hours.
8?
I think they're going to have a verdict before they go to bed.
I'm going to go with 2.
You think it's going to be that fast?
I think they're going to walk back there. They're going to get a chicken salad sandwich and go, guilty as fuck.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.